You're not a beep. You're a man. You're a human. Man, you're human. You're not a robot. You're a human. You have a soul. You have feelings. It's okay to feel. Every man doesn't have to do the same thing or do those things to be a man. Who benefits from toxic masculinity? The short answer is no one. What's up, guys? Andizzle. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am here today, tonight, tomorrow, today, whenever you watch this video. I am here to talk. Yeah. So in today's video, I'm going to be discussing, as you can tell by the title, toxic masculinity. I'm going to be giving some objective information and my opinions about the information and about the topic as a whole. I have done research about toxic masculinity, its origins, the effects that it has on men, women, and society as a whole. And I wanted to do this video to just give the information, give the objective information, give my personal feelings about the information, and to just raise awareness about how toxic masculinity is a thing. So I can say, like, this is a video essay. Oh my gosh, video essay. Yeah, I am doing this video to inform, educate, and create a space to have engaging conversations about topics that are real. The research that I've done, I have it in a document. I have the document pulled up on my computer, but I will have this document linked down below so that you all can read the research that I've done, but I will be adding my own on the spot commentary. So yeah, I'm here today. You know, I got my little twist. When I was planning about when I was going to film this video, I was just literally in the bathroom and I was like, girl, you can do this video right now. Like, the circumstances is right. Like, it's just my gut, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It was just like, you can film this video right now. You don't got to change your hair, because at the end of the day, you are representing, this is me talking to myself, you are representing being authentically you, coming as who you are. And that's what I want the people who come into my channel, come into anything that I'm doing. I want you to come as you are, however you are. Whether that's you got a bald head, whether that's your hair is so kinky, so beautiful, whether your hair is so whatever, whether you is so whatever, whether you got on makeup, don't got on makeup, whether you don't brush your teeth, ain't brush your teeth, whether you done bathed in 3 days, bathed just now, that's your business. At the end of the day, come as you are. And I'm coming as who I am. This is my channel. I literally have full creative control. I can literally come on here, you know what I'm saying, straight up like that. And I just want to, like, even me doing this can motivate other people to just be authentically them and not feel like they have to, oh, I gotta go ahead and do my hair if I want to do this video, or if I want to present myself in this way. Because at the end of the day, the information that I'm presenting, however I come on here looking, that don't matter at the end of the day, because we're giving objective information and we're, you know, giving our subjective opinions and perspectives about it, and just having conversations, you know. So yeah, let's get into it. Before we get into it though, you know, I got to do my little promo for myself. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe if you want to. You got free will, boo, but you know what I'm saying. Okay, so I have a couple of notes for anybody in taking this information. First thing is, I may not say everything there is to know about toxic masculinity. I have linked my external sources of information where you can find more info about the topic. I have also linked some sources that I didn't use, but are great places for information related to this topic. The internet has many sources of information going more in depth about toxic masculinity and everything about it, its effects, etc. This passage is a collection of information I decided to use to create the message I wanted to send to readers and listeners. This is just the information I wanted to present for the way that I'm presenting it. So there's so much more research that you can do about toxic masculinity and its effects than just this video. This can just be something that is introductory into the whole scope of what toxic masculinity is, because it's so big, it's so much, and I may not even cover everything that it affects, every way that it can be shown, every way that it can be ingrained in people's minds. It's so many other things that you can learn about toxic masculinity, and it can just take a search in a search engine, or it can just take going to a library, or it can just take getting a book about it. It can take anything. But this is just to say that I may not say everything in this video, but this is just to give information about the topic from what I have researched and what I found. And then this can be a beginning stage, or just a place for you to be like, okay, well, I'm going to do more research about this if you choose. But if you just want to get it this way, then you can, okay? Next statement. I may not know everything. I'm open to learning new things, being pointed to information sources, and just learning. We can all learn from each other. This space is open for other people to share their experiences, knowledge, opinions, and information about the topic. I want this to be a respectable place where we all can share the objective information, then share our personal opinions, views, and perspectives about the topic in conversation. Next point. My purpose behind sharing this content is not to persuade others to agree with me. I try to give the objective information, then give my subjective views separately. They may blend in together sometimes, but regardless, I'm stating the facts as facts and my opinions as opinions. So sometimes I may have a subjective statement meshed in between sentences of objective statements, but the facts are facts, the opinions are opinions. This is my video, so I'm not saying that means that, oh, this is my video, so everything that I'm saying, even if it's opinionated, is facts. No, I'm not saying that. Some of these facts, they may be, you know, it could be more to that. It could be more to these statements, more to understanding these statements in their true context. It could be so much. So basically, I'm saying that to say that I may not be cold cut, this is objective, this is subjective, this is objective, this is subjective. But at the end of the day, I'm trying to keep it clear enough to where you may be able to understand. But if there's any issue with that in the comments, like, let me know in the comments, and we can maybe come to understand it, and I can maybe tweak the way that I do that, especially for future videos. But for this one, we're gonna go with it. We're gonna flow with it, okay? Boom. Everybody may not agree with these points, and that's okay. I know that every reader and listener is coming from different places, receiving this information at different points of their life. If your heart and mind is open to really receive what I'm saying and agree with my views, that's up to you. My content is not meant to sway anyone who doesn't want to be swayed. You don't have to. I'm stating the facts about the topic, my perspectives and opinions about the topic, and creating a space to have discussions about the topic and discuss ways we can change the narrative or even solve the issue at hand. Period. With that being said, this is not a place for people to be disrespectful and nasty to others because they have differing views and opinions than you. Someone could be totally for toxic masculinity, and that's for them. If you don't agree with my views, that's fine. But leaving nasty comments and messages or just dropping that hateful energy off here will be declined. That's not welcome here. We can have respectable conversations while having differing views. Let's just share our words, not hateful energy. We can share our words and not be trying to sway the other, especially when they are on a complete opposite plane of views. If we're going to give information, understand that you can get this information, and the person who is receiving this information or that you're giving this information to, they could very much so not agree with what you're saying by the time you're done talking. And that's okay, because when you're giving that information just to give that information, okay, but you are not going to be able to 100% guarantee that you're going to sway this person. So just don't even do it as that. Just do it as you're just, you know, informing. By the way, I will be using information from different sources. There are parts of this passage, there's parts of this essay that is quoted, that's fully quoted. I may include it in the video, like include pictures of this, but I will have this document linked so that you can go see the actual source that I'm discussing. Okay, boom. Okay, so since we've gotten the preparation statements of what this video essay is going to be and what this conversation is going to be, we can get started. Okay, let's get started. What is toxic masculinity? Toxic masculinity is an attitude or set of social guidelines stereotypically associated with manliness that often have a negative impact on men, women, and society in general. The term toxic masculinity isn't meant to imply that the idea of masculinity in itself is inherently bad. Instead, it's meant to point out that certain behaviors and ways of thinking often associated with masculinity, from mental and physical toughness to sexism and homophobia, have a negative and often dangerous impact on the world. That is a definition of toxic masculinity. What isn't toxic masculinity? We've looked at what toxic masculinity is, but what is it not? Toxic masculinity doesn't refer to men's innate traits or mean that being a man is somehow inherently wrong. Rather, it's a criticism of rigid and stereotypical definitions of masculinity often enforced upon men. There's nothing wrong with being or aspiring to be more masculine, but the idea that real men can't be the primary caretaker of their children, ask for help, have feelings, or want to take things slow in a relationship is harmful. It can discourage men from exploring any non-traditional hobbies, interests, or pursuits and deprive them of a full range of expression, preventing them from becoming the best version of their own true selves. It's boxing people in, boxing men into these certain stereotypes and what a man is, what a man isn't. But at the end of the day, a man is biologically a man or identify as a man. Is no stereotypical thing, because that's boxing people in. And every man doesn't have to do the same thing or do those things to be a man. If you're naturally stoic, which is a person who can endure pain or hardship without showing their feelings or complaining, that's fine. But convincing yourself that normal emotions aren't acceptable for a man can harm your mental health. If you like sports, cars, or working out, that's fine too. But ridiculing or shaming men who don't will be considered toxic behavior. Healthy masculinity doesn't force yourself or others to jeopardize their mental health or safety to conform to hyper-masculine expectations of how a man should act. Pretty much, yeah. So when doing my research about toxic masculinity, I already had a somewhat understanding of what toxic masculinity is, because I just knew, like, you don't have to put these stereotypes and these standards up for men, and like it's not yeah. But basically I already had some type of understanding of what toxic masculinity was, but I didn't know fully where it came from, where it originated from, where the concept originated from. But let's get into that point here. Where does the concept of toxic masculinity come from? The origins of toxic masculinity began thousands of years ago when Homo sapiens would use physical strength, dominance, and aggression to fight and hunt. These behaviors continued for centuries and into contemporary times, where these behaviors are no longer necessary, yet the attitude is still promoted. Continuing this type of masculinity becomes toxic since it's outdated and incompatible with current times. That's from the source Poosh. We weren't, back then, like, we weren't us right now. We weren't there then. So it wasn't necessarily a way to fully verify this, but I felt like this was the closest that I could probably get to getting some type of connection of where it really stems from. If somebody has a different interpretation of where toxic masculinity truly stems from, I would love to hear that in the comments. I would love to read that in the comments. I really would. Or to be directed to a source that can give more valid or reliable or accurate information. The reason why I'm saying that is because I'm not necessarily saying that the information that I gave isn't accurate or isn't reliable. It's just, it could be something else. I'm open to it being something else, Okay. Toxic masculinity is a learned behavior passed down from generation to generation and through social groups. As the American Psychological Association states, boys learn to be men from the men in their lives, from their own experiences navigating our social norms, and from the large social and cultural context. That's where toxic masculinity comes from and how it gets passed down and how it has thrived and become what it is today and has been so normalized, and not even knowing that it's not normal, it's not okay, in my opinion. Where toxic masculinity could have stemmed from within a person: violence or trauma at home, dysfunctional family dynamics, lack of mental health treatment, social rejection, or taught behaviors surrounding male dominance and violence. This next part, this is my commentary. In all, this can be a representation of how a lot of this can come from a little boy's childhood experiences and environment, making them into the man he is today. Some of these behaviors, morals, and values were passed down to men by their fathers, mothers, and family. This could have come from a survival standpoint of parents knowing what they had been through and trying to protect their child in the best way they knew how. But that wasn't actually the best way. Your parents didn't deserve to have to feel like they couldn't feel, like they couldn't cry, like they had to be the farthest from an emotional being. You're not a robot. You're a human. You have a soul. You have feelings. It's okay to feel. You're not a wimp. You're not a You're not a bitch. You're a man. You're a human. Man. You're human. You are made to have feelings. You have a soul with feelings. Depending on your cultural background and history, certain people in society made people of your culture and background turn cold, turn solid, turn unhuman-like. That's how they were perceived. Anything other than human. These are some of the signs and characteristics of a man engaging in toxic masculinity. Now, I want to give a side note. The things that I'm about to list, they don't necessarily mean that this person is a toxic masculine or fully engulfed in toxic masculinity. These are just some things that can be shown. Basically, what I'm saying with this is a person can be promiscuous and it not be related to toxic masculinity. Okay? But some of these signs and characteristics can include homophobia. Toxic masculinity teaches men that homosexuality is a deviation from traditional masculinity and that gay men are less masculine. Y'all, that breath was from me like reading. Like I've been reading. I've been on it, you know. Oh, my shirt, it says it costs nothing to be a nice person. Period. It's $3.99 to be nice. Okay, back to what I was saying. Being promiscuous, gender roles, and not helping with household duties, that's a woman's job, etc. Okay. Sexually aggressive towards women, feel the right and entitled to a woman's body, which, by the way, no one is entitled to anybody else's body except for that person. Period. Violence to assert and prove this masculinity. Need for control, power over women, misogyny. Some men feel like they must live up to standards society has created for them, but that is not the case. Some of these societal standards include, but are not limited to, bring home the money, be the family man, be the leader of the household, be strong, don't ask for help, perfect figure and physique, abs, muscles, you know the look. Always win, which can be an example of your self-worth being directly correlated to success. And that's not the case to me. That's not the case to me. And the last thing that I have on this list is don't cry, don't be soft, be tough, be a man. Besides that, I put that this can come from the survival standpoint, to not show feelings, to be hard, to be solid as a rock, to be a robot. Something that I wanted to put at this point was a message, and I'm just gonna read it. Women are capable of exerting toxic masculine views. To me, that's not okay, nor the right thing to do. Examples of this can be a woman telling her male significant other, be a man, I'm the woman, you shouldn't be doing all this feeling and whatnot. It's plenty of ways the societal norm can be exerted onto others. Some women even exert those views and gender norm ideas onto women. This can be displayed through internalized misogyny and overall promoting the views and standards of toxic masculine behavior. Some of these women are mothers to little girls who grow up to be women, little boys who grow up to be men. It's our responsibility to learn better, to know better, and when you know better, you do better. That statement was to just make it clear that toxic masculinity is a whole concept. It's a whole thing. It's not just something including, oh, only men can participate in toxic masculinity, only men can promote toxic masculinity. No, it can affect everybody, it can be promoted by everybody, and it's a bad thing everywhere to me. So what's up, y'all? I'm currently editing this video right now, and I wanted to add in this point that there's nothing wrong with wanting your partner or the partner for you, you want them to provide. You want them to exert strong energy or dominant energy or whatever. It's nothing wrong with that. But to say that a man is not a man because they don't do those things, that is what feeds into toxic masculinity. If you want your partner to do that, then okay, but and that's fine, you know, there's nothing wrong with it. But to just get an understanding of what some of that could be rooted in, and what some of the shame that can be put onto men who don't fit into those standards, that is something to refer to. It's just about not feeling pressured to make yourself be something that you're not for a partner. If you're not that, you're not that. If you're not able to provide, you're not able to provide for them. If you're not able to provide the life that they want, or provide the things for them that they want, then you're not the person for them. They're not the person for you. And that's fine. Like, you shouldn't have to stretch yourself so far from who you are to be who somebody else wants you to be. That's what it is. So that's what I was saying. It's nothing wrong with a woman wanting a man to provide. I mean, that's to each his own. That's what you want, and you want that for your own reasons, from your own experiences, whatever. But it's more so about shaming men who don't fit into those standards, period. Okay, moving on. This is how these standards that society has put on men can correlate and connect dots to current internal issues that men may have today. This can include, but is not limited to, bottling in emotions, suffering in silence, body confidence issues, fear of failure. Which, with this, I want to leave this statement. Every failure is for a reason. It is not meant to be a downfall or something to keep you down. It is meant to be a lesson. Regardless of win or fail, enjoy doing it. That's what matters. Next statement. More focus on capitalistic success. And this can be a worker with great outcome mindset in reality, when you really should be doing what makes you happy, not necessarily what makes you money. Pressure to be something other than what you are, depression, and anxiety. In actuality, people should be able to make the choices of the standards and goals they have for themselves by themselves. Everybody, men, women, non-binaries, period. Don't go out and have a family when you really don't want to. When making big decisions about what you want for/are doing in your life, ask yourself these questions. What do you want to do? Why do you want to do this? Is it because someone or something else told you that? Is it what you saw other people do? Is this situation the best for you mentally, physically, and spiritually? Don't go get married and have kids because a book told you to, your mama told you to, or that's what your guy friends are doing. Do you even like kids? Do you even have enough emotional awareness for yourself, yet alone to teach and raise a child? Some people just go along with the plans or expectations that are already made for them by someone else. Have you sat and reflected about what you want to do yourself? It may be a lot of pressure to some listeners and readers because you probably weren't even aware of the fact you had a choice. Or maybe you weren't really aware of the fact that what you thought you wanted to do may not be what you really wanted to do. Now, I want to leave this as a side note though. I'm not saying that if you jump into things operating from toxic masculinity, that means completely disregard your responsibilities. If you don't have kids, take care of them kids, period. But if anything, take that as a lesson and teach them better. This point that I was making about reflecting on why you're making these types of decisions, and just knowing why you're making these types of decisions, and if these are really your decisions or decisions that you were subliminally coerced to do, and that's not really what you want to do, because are you really happy with doing that, you know? But if you done already did something, if you done already, you know, had kids, or you done already brought somebody else, take care of them kids. Take care of them kids. They ain't asked to be here. Take care of them kids. Period. Now you divorced your... I don't really know what to say about all that. Y'all... This ain't all of that. This is staying the... I ain't telling y'all to go out and drop everything. Okay? I'm just saying. Think about why you did it. Permanent decisions, they've been done, but you can think about why you did it and reflect on it and know better for next time in future. But if you done already brought that kid, baby, you got to ride. You got to ride. You got to ride to the end. And even after. Moving on. Trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning. Okay, so to my viewers, I wanted to give a trigger warning because I will be briefly mentioning domestic violence, gun violence, sexual assault, and harassment in the next section. I don't go too deep into discussing these topics, but they are briefly mentioned to connect them to the effects of toxic masculinity. I will put a timestamp of when you can skip and those topics won't be mentioned anymore. Thank you. The effects of toxic masculinity. As I said before, I don't know if I said that before, but I will say that now. Toxic masculinity doesn't just affect men. Toxic masculinity affects men, women, society as a whole. Toxic masculinity is not just harmful to boys. Conformity to toxic masculine behavior, such as dominance and aggression, is harmful to our society as a whole. This desire for superiority challenges women's basic human rights and can be linked to the prevalence of harassment and sexual assaults. Toxic masculinity contributes to ongoing issues like mental health stigma, rape culture, and violence by encouraging men to avoid vulnerability, ignore personal traumas, and act on homophobic or misogynistic beliefs. This is a subsection, and this is about the effects that toxic masculinity can have on society. Toxic masculinity also has an effect on society at large. It tells men and boys that strength and aggression are the key to solving problems rather than communication. This contributes to issues like domestic abuse, gun violence, and sexual assault, as men are conditioned to believe that they have to intimidate or overpower their foes so they don't appear weak. Certain attitudes associated with toxic masculinity, such as homophobia and misogyny, also promote bullying and rape culture. Toxic masculinity teaches men that their manhood is tied to the ability to dominate and objectify women. And one way this is achieved is through sexual harassment. All too often, this behavior is rationalized by the mentality that boys will be boys, perpetuating bad behavior in the workplace, in relationships, and elsewhere in life. Toxic masculinity ideology also tends to shift blame onto victims and relieve men of any responsibility for their actions, reinforcing negative attitudes towards women and sex. Toxic masculinity can also affect other areas of one's life, including but not limited to romantic relationships and relationships, period. And I have an article linked on the document. I have an article linked of how toxic masculinity can affect romantic relationships. But I just didn't include all of that information in this video because, but it is there. I have it linked down below, and you could probably do more research about that too. Okay, I wanted to give some examples of what exerting toxic masculinity can look like as a child, because we were children, and it can be shown that even girls, even women, even it don't matter. We done known a boy, we done seen a boy, and we done seen these things being implemented. Let's just get into the information. Examples of what exerting toxic masculinity can look like as a child. Boys not being able to play with girl toys, such as cooking sets, dolls, anything pink. Boys being more encouraged to play sports like football, basketball, baseball, etc. Anything besides cheerleading, because cheerleading is considered a girl thing. By dealing with toxic masculinity, we are challenging gender norms that make young people feel bad about themselves. Growing up should be a time of exploration and expression, not a time to fit into a pre-designed gender-specific box. This next section, I literally, like, this next section, let's just get into it. We don't even need no introduction for this next section. Y'all gonna know. That's gay. The definition of being gay, according to Oxford, is as follows: sexually or romantically attracted exclusively to people of one's own sex or gender, used especially of a man. Okay? That is a textbook definition of gay. A part of toxic masculinity I have personally witnessed is men being called gay for doing things that stray away from regular gender norms of what men should do. Examples of this type of behavior, or examples of just doing these things that aren't particularly masculine, are but do not limit to this. They are not limited to this. Cheerleading, wearing feminine colors, pink, purple, etc. Which, fun fact, blue actually used to be a feminine color, and pink used to be a masculine color. Pink used to be the color for boys. Blue used to be the color for girls. Source linked down below. Is factual. It's societal. It's a construct. Let's continue. Wearing nail polish, wearing tight jeans, skincare, which to people who say, to men who say that, what do y'all be doing? What do y'all be doing? Liking fashion, and that fashion not necessarily being limited to just folk be saying stuff. Doing hair, like being a hairdresser, being a hairstylist, you know? The list go on and on and on. But this is my point. The only thing that makes a person gay is being sexually or romantically attracted to the same sex or gender. Meaning, just because a man likes to cheer, that doesn't mean he is gay. He could very much so be straight. Just because a man like pink, just because a man whole wardrobe is pink, he could very much so be straight, be only exclusively attracted to women. Just because a man paint his nails, he could very much. Y'all don't want to know what I was finna say. Y'all may want to know what I was finna say. Some of y'all may know what I was finna say because of how, but just know. Ain't nobody gay less they gay. Period. Period. Order in the court. Order in the court. Order in the court. People think bodybuilding or working out and getting big strong muscles is manly, but it's probably plenty of people in the gym who live for real, and they gay, proudly or shyly. What's up, y'all? So I wanted to add this clip in to say that when I was saying about bodybuilding and saying that that's manly, I more so wanted to say that that was like masculine, a masculine thing, like, oh, this is a dude thing, like, oh, dudes, straight dudes do this, like this is a typical masculine thing. But it's men who bodybuild and they're gay, but that doesn't make them any less of a man. It's men who don't bodybuild and that doesn't make them less of a man, you know? Like, that was just to say that bodybuilding and stuff like that, and going to the gym and lifting, like, do you even lift, stuff like that, that's meant to be a masculine thing. But it's people who go to the gym and they're gay, but that doesn't make them any less of a masculine person or any less of a man. That's what this point was saying. Regardless, nothing can make you gay except being gay, and there's nothing wrong with being gay. That's them. I fully support people of the LGBTQ plus community. I am not going to treat you any differently just because you are a part of the LGBTQ plus community, because what the fuck they got to do with me? And why would I treat you any type of way, any type of different, any type of disrespectful, any type of lower than, just because you doing that, just because you rock that way? They don't affect me no which way, no. Be proud. Be you. If you is gay, if you is anything in the LGBTQ plus community, do your shit. Do your shit. Do your shit. Boom. That's all I got to say about that. That's all I got to say about that. Moving on. Who benefits from toxic masculinity? The short answer is no one. I looked this up. I literally typed in who benefits from toxic masculinity, and no one popped up. No one popped up. Like, not from what I saw. Somebody could look this up and they could see something different, you know, but from what I saw, no one. That's the conclusion that I came up with personally. This is coming from my perspective about just making different correlations and connections, you know what I'm saying? So this doesn't necessarily have to be fact. I'm not speaking this to be fact, but this is just my personal perspective about who benefits from toxic masculinity. I would say society, or a capitalistic system, would be the only benefiting party. Not even society. I would just say a capitalistic system would be the only benefiting party. Men pressure to work means more men working jobs even when they don't want to. More men being in powerful positions. More men striving for money and capitalistic gains. Feeding the cycle of capitalism. One could say capitalism thrives off of toxic masculinity. Other things also feed capitalism. This is just one. It's plenty of other things that capitalism thrives off of too. We could probably have that conversation another day. Anywho, this is a question. If toxic masculinity is so bad, why are so many people doing it? My answer to that is because so many people are doing it. With so many people engulfed in this way of thinking and living, they don't truly know the depths of the effects it causes on them, their lives, their peers, and society as a whole. Toxic masculinity is structural. It's systemic. It goes back generations from this point. It's somewhat the majority. It's the standard that is pushed in society. It's been pushed onto society. That's why we as individuals are here with the opportunity to educate ourselves and change our views and perspectives about masculinity and society as a whole, if one is willing. So this section is moving forward with the topic of toxic masculinity. Steps to take to heal from inner toxic masculinity. Now, I want to make this clear. I'm not a licensed professional in mental health situations. I'm not a licensed professional in psychology, but I'm just sharing information from my research, personal experience, witnessing toxic masculinity being displayed and its effects, and my personal suggestions. But if you want more information from licensed professionals, I suggest maybe even going to a licensed professional or doing more research on your own, you know? Let's just get to it. Unlearn the ways of toxic masculinity, and that may be a lot of unpacking, a lot of unlearning, because this could be something that you've literally known your whole life, and now you're just now coming to understand that this is not okay. This has actually been very detrimental to me, the people around me, and really society. But yet still, let's continue. Do more research about toxic masculinity to get a clear understanding of what it is, how to identify it in yourself and other people, and how to know when you are or aren't moving away from it. But how to identify it in not just other people, not just yourself, but just in so many things. Like, once you got that understanding, you'll see toxic masculinity being displayed in so many ways. So actually, one of the sources that I used and that are linked in the document, they talk about toxic masculinity being displayed in TV shows. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. Anyways, reach out for help through therapy, trusted individuals, and just safe and comfortable spaces. Everybody is coming from a different space. Everybody is coming to this information in a different way at a different time. So where you can reach out for help, and if you can reach out for help, it may be different for every person, you know? So everybody may not have the luxury to be able to do that. Everybody may not have the luxury to be able to go to therapy or have trusted individuals around them that don't subscribe to toxic masculinity or, you know, safe and comfortable spaces. But if anything, the comments up here is a comfortable space, and just yourself, be that comfortable space for yourself, or learn to, or just, it could just be so many things with that, you know? But moving on. Live as you. Live as you. Not to the standards and stereotypes of society's views on men. You can cry. You can feel. You can lose. You can feel defeated. You can rest. Allow yourself to be you. Not to anyone else's standard, but your own. Be patient with yourself. Growth isn't a straight, linear path. There may be ups and downs, but don't get discouraged. You may have participated in toxic masculine behavior before, but taking the steps to move away from it is a great start. Be patient and be gentle with yourself. It's a whole process. This may have been your whole life that you had been engulfed in toxic masculinity, that had been pushed onto you. But now you're taking the steps to unlearn it, and you're taking the steps to know better and do better. And when you know better, you do better. Period. Another thing that is a great thing to do moving forward is teaching the youth better, boys to men. We gotta understand that the future is in the hands of us. That we, at one point, we were kids. We was children, and the future is in the hand of children too. The future is in the hands of everybody here. Basically, with me saying that is that children grow up to be adults. Boys grow up to be men. So it's important to give them that positive foundation. Teach them the things that you didn't get taught at that age. Give them that positive foundation that you didn't get at the age. And to just break those boundaries, break those curses, break those cycles of toxic masculinity, and break it at the beginning of that child life. Don't even put it in them. Don't even put that in them, and teach them different from the beginning. And raise the new beginnings. We are creating the new beginnings with the children, with us, with everybody. But it's important to learn to move forward. It's important to learn to move forward and move forward more educated about this. And with teaching your child from the beginning, by the time they're adults, so they don't need to unlearn about toxic masculinity, because they've already been living and knowing themselves, or living in the truth and not living in somebody else's standard of what your truth has to be and how you have to be, period. But these are some things for, you know, things that you can maybe do to teach your child or your son better about toxic masculinity. And you can even teach daughters too. Now that I'm looking at this section, like, you can teach children, period. But this part is more about boys. So first thing is, heal as a parent to be better for your child and your children. Great thing to do for you is to unlearn those things. At the time of recording this video, I'm not a parent, but I've been a child. Moving on. Teach boys that emotions are healthy. It's perfectly fine to have emotions. Teach boys how to deal with their emotions in a healthy way. There's so much more research that could be done on this topic, and teaching the youth better about just growing and not being boxed into certain things that toxic masculinity can box people into, and certain things that gender roles can box people into too. And this is the closing for this video. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and do the closing for this topic. One step at a time, we can make the changes needed, but it's your individual choice. Coming to understand this information doesn't mean you have to force it onto others. Open ears and hearts will listen and receive. Live in your newly found truth, and others will follow if they are meant to. If others around you are still operating from toxic masculine standpoints, understand that everyone is coming from different places, different perspectives, different understandings. Know that the same way this was pushed onto you systemically, it could have been the same way for them, maybe even worse. As long as they are not harming others, just let them be and lead by example. I can't speak for everybody's situation. You know, it could be a power thing where this person is exerting these toxic masculine behaviors in major ways and harming people, and you may not be in a position to help, and you may not be in a position to defend that person. It's just, let them be. Let that person who's still believing in it, let them be, and lead by example by just you being you. They'll get it if they're meant to. Everybody has different divine times when they are meant to learn the lessons that have been divinely tuned and crafted for them. You can't make anybody else understand this stuff because you understand this stuff, because you understood this when you was meant to. If somebody would have probably told you this a couple years from now, or at a state when you wasn't open to understand, open to listen, open to receive, then you probably wouldn't have received it, because you got to be open to be able to do that. Even if you is subconsciously open and you don't even know that you're really open to receive this information. It's some people who are very blocked off and they ain't receiving it, and that's okay, because at the end of the day, they gonna get it when they get it, if they meant to get it. We're not here to sway, and if we can't sway, bash it. No, we're not doing that. We're here to state the facts and state the information, period. So that's all that I got for the essay. That's all that I got for the essay. And we just discussed that toxic masculinity, you know what I'm saying? We getting over that. We breaking barriers. We breaking those cycles. We gotta do better. We gotta know better. We know better. We do better. You know what I'm talking about? So yeah, that's what I have to say for this video. Like I said before, this is a space to have conversations about this. I want to, you know, have educated, you know, respectable, interactive conversations about this. If y'all are interested, you know, leave a comment, you know, you can even message me about it, anything, you know, but let's just be respectful. Everybody be respectful in the comments, and disrespectful shit. Okay, so yeah, that's really all I had to say for this video. I know that this video is going to touch who is meant to touch, and at the end of the day, I'm Andizzle, and I'm here to be me, here to create a space and have the space for you to be you. period. And me, you can't box me in no box, boo-boo. And you can't be boxing no box. You shouldn't be boxing no box. Who you can be shouldn't be boxing no box. Be you. Be proud to be you. I love y'all so much. Y'all heard that? Girl, what you talking about? You need to just go ahead and close out the video. Okay, y'all. So I love y'all so much. Make sure that you like, comment, subscribe. If you want to, we support free will over here. You know what I'm saying? But I love y'all. And I hope y'all have an amazing day, amazing night, amazing whatever you finna do after you cut off this video. If you want to rewind this video and watch again so you can spend some more time with me, you sure can do that, boo. I love y'all. All right, Andizzle out. Later.